When it is 12 midnight in Liberia, and it is just 7:09 p.m. Green Country, Oklahoma. Wherever you are, join us. It is 8:09 Eastern Standard Time. Those of you on the East Coast, tonight is politics. Tuesday, night politics. Talking everything about Liberia. Join me tonight with my co-host. I'm in Studio 1 and he's in Studio 2, LRB. Kapow, kapow, kapow. That is one of our traditional Bun County pellet song. Kapow, kapow. Oh man, I love this music, man. I love that song. It just keeps me going. Folks, welcome to the show. Tonight is very important topics to talk to you about. What is happening in the electoral process in Liberia, and how efficient is the process? How transparent is the process? So we want to talk about it. And those of you who are watching us and following us, wherever you are following us from, whether you are on the 9 planets, Neptune, Pluto, Mercury, wherever, planet Earth, welcome to Earth because we are on Earth. And with me in studio tonight is my co-host, Jasper, Jasper, what's up, man? How you doing over there?
Well, I'm doing good. Thank God for life. With our country, we are fine, doing fine.
Wow, 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 I can tell you guys doing good over there. And election is literally 2 weeks uh, to elections, and I don't know how prepared are you guys with what is unfolding in the country. The late arrival of ballot boxes, ballot papers, all of that materials, uh, all of that stuff. What are you up to? What are you up to over there? What's your perspective?
Um, Once again, I want to say thank you for being part of the show again tonight on this May night edition of the show. We are here for the election, the electoral process in Liberia. We're looking up to the Eto Brown Lasana, who happens to be a chairperson
Hmm.
of the National Election Commission. And, you know, she always tells that not everything that they do down there is entered into law. So they choose at any time to do anything during this election.
Right.
And so we just looking at them. Yeah. So we're just observing what actually going on. I was there today. I think you saw me there, and
Yeah, yeah,
I
and
toured
we
it.
have we do have a couple of those clips that will be playing earlier on today in the show for our viewing audience tonight to listen to, because it's very very crucial that they hear what is happening, and so that they don't give up, because the message that we want to send tonight to the voting populace of Liberia is to not give up, irrespective of all the scandal, of all the backdoor, unscrupulous behaviors that are taking place right now. The clear message that we want to send is show up to the polls, and everything is being orchestrated to frustrate the process, right? But we will be able to go through the process tonight as to, is this transparent? The coming election, is the NEC prepared, ready? Let me put that on the screen for our viewing audience to be able to see our topics of discussion tonight. Should the election be canceled or postponed? Should Liberia's elections be postponed or not? These are very, very important topics for us to talk about. And the reason why we are asking this question is we are looking at all the nitty gritties that are involved into this process uh, in order for it to be transparent. The late arrival of um, um, election ballots, that's one aspect. The final FFR for stakeholders and parties that are involved, the 20 political parties, uh, all of that. The time frame that is left from now to October 10th, is that an enough window, or is it intentional to push the opposition, to put them on the back, they're back to the wall, wherein they will not be able to do what they're supposed to do, you know, so that the election will be going in favor of the ruling government, which is the government of uh, the current president, George Weah. These are some of the things. But you were at the National Elections Commissions today. You went through with the press conference that they had, the Election Commission Chairman, David Brown Lansana. What was your perspective? Sometimes people, those of us that sit on the fence to see what's happening, it's a whole lot different than someone when someone is on the inside. What is your perspective from what you saw today?
Uh, you know, with the question that you just asked, should Liberia's election be postponed or not? Uh, I can safely say that that authority lies in the hands of the National Election Commission
Mm-hmm.
because they are they are charged with that responsibility to make sure that the election be held. And we went for the press conference today. We observed, we saw international observers from ECOWAS, EU, and other part of African Union that were also there. We saw some people who came from America, also the American observer, the same. So there were a lot of people who actually came for the press conference today. And
Right.
the press conference, there were a lot of questions that came in that even that the commissioner she herself have to throw them out to technicians and other people to really answer them because too many questions, too many suspicious, and too many things going on. And the 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 the, the director, that is David Eto Brown, can I address this concern? And I've been told and that they've been dragged to court. The United Party have dragged them to court for this FFR, and
Yeah,
they are
yeah.
in court as
I
we
did
speak.
see. I did see a lawsuit that was filed to the Supreme Court by
Yeah,
the main opposition party, which is the Unity Party, and the collaborating parties that are uh, uh, in gear with the Unity Party,
yeah.
complaining them to the Supreme Court. So of these are of malpractices, or delaying the elections. Corruption is already has already begun. Um, when it comes to the process itself, the process in itself, there is a dark cloud that is hanging right now over the National Elections Commission, which is the NEC. So is that true? Because you were on the ground, you reported for Talk TV Media today, and I follow you to the letter. You know, your perspective, along with international journalists, media that were present today in that, uh, what did you sense? Do you think that Deviator Brown is up to the task? Because she seems a little nervous, like she's not prepared or ready for this. It seems like she undermined this or they overlooked it, that this process was going to take a different turn, that this election is different from the previous elections, right? She probably may have
Um.
overlooked that, don't you think?
So, what I observed and other colleagues of ours, the journalists, observe is that this election, I'm not sure that David Etta Brown, who happens to be the chairperson of the National Election Commission, I don't think they are really prepared because there are too many dragging here and there. They are so reluctant.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see anything going on as planned. Bridging their own calendar that they publish to the website. They are not going by what they are saying. And if you ask them, they will only tell you that we we're doing our job and not everything. And in fact, it is not a law that we should do this, we should do that. And
Right.
so, to me, sometimes she sounds somehow cheeky in some of the answers that she gave. But
And
her being
in a Liberian term, when you're talking about being cheeky, for those in the diaspora who are not Liberians, it's like when someone is like kind of undermining you and they don't take you seriously. That's what
exactly.
we. Yeah. Go ahead.
So she don't answer people the way you and even the Unity Party Secretary General was there. Uh, um, Amos Twe, you know, and in fact, the media coordinator wanted to deny him, asking some questions that he needed a redress, but he kept putting his finger up, and luckily he was recognized by the National Election Commission, the chairperson,
Right.
and then he was able to flag his question, and one of the questions he asked that
Don't jump ahead of me because I have the video already uploaded. So I want to be able to play
Okay.
it for our viewers to hear it from the mouths
Okay.
of Twe himself, because that was a very interactive engagement, and which, if you look at it, you will know that it kind of caught them unaware, that in that moment, people were being able to add up, figures and calculate and stuff. But before I play that, I want to welcome you, Emmanuel, to the show tonight. How's Bond County with you?
Well, CEO, let me say thanks so much for the invite. I think that it is good for us, I mean, a time for all to come on the show. And we in Liberia to bring up to the public some of the Haiti agenda issues been occurring in our country. As we be aware, we are in one of the most talked about, most heated democracy process. That's the authoritarian election. But what I can say, Bon County is relatively kind. We are experiencing peace in the central part of the country,
Mm-hmm.
but just like everyone are just much concerned about the National Elections Commission, some of the louses, some of the delayed tactics, some of the inability to be proactive. But the county is so kind in totality, and things are moving up okay with the people of Bun County.
But just that the process has been stalled, and it seems like the people at the National Elections Commission didn't expect the magnitude and the sophistication of this election. How important it is that this election is unlike like previous elections. This one, the world is watching. United States of America is watching with a lot of over 200 observers in the country. The EU is watching. The ECOWAS is watching. Because we Liberians do not want to see what just happened next door, Sierra Leone. President Bio going through all those sanctions and stole the elections from the people. People do not want to see this. So as a result, before we get into this, all the politics of it, I want to play this video. Some of these questions that were asked today at the National Elections Commission. And this one is specifically by Toy, right, to the commission. Listen.
Thank you so very much, Madam Chairperson. On the question of the gentleman asked, we realize that in Monserrado, in Miami, there are increases. Actually, the first figure you brought up was around 891,201. Then the last one is 901,000 change. So when you do the analysis, there's an increase of around 9,000 plus. So this is after the deduplication exercise. We want to know what is the basis for that increase. Is the technician here? Did you understand the question? Okay, yeah. I want to respond to that, please. Thank you.
So I believe there was a presentation made some months ago to the political party representatives in this hall, to political party technicians, and we made it clear that we did give you preliminary figures immediately after the first phase of the BVR process and the second phase. When we put all those records together, we gave you what was 2,498,904 registration records across the country. And then we said those numbers were subject to deduplication and adjudication. From those numbers, we removed 27,192, an additional 500 and some more suspected underage registration records that were conditions for us going through the exhibition process. When we concluded the exhibition, Madam Chair announced that the final figure for eligible voters across the country stands at 2,471,617. Now, that number is spread across all of the 15 counties. So that we gave you, in that final figure, you have all the county information. You go to neclibrary.org, you click on the link, voter registration, you will see all of these numbers are portioned according to polling places right now, and all of them are accounted for. There will be no duplicated number in this field. Thank you.
In other words, what's on the website that we publish, and I'm being corrected because there was a mistake in the number. Is you just corrected it, Mr. Technician. 2.471.
2,471,670.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
Okay, I want us to kind of digest this because the next response was a follow up, right? As in the question that Toy asked was not answered. So after this deliberations, he made a follow up questions. But before I play that, what's your perspective from just that alone? You know, the number that they came up with was 8,920 some votes, and now there's an increase. Instead, after sorting everything out, there's supposed to be either a decrease or an even number, right? Of 9,001 plus. But there is an increase of 9,000 votes alone. What's your take? Do you suspect any foul play already is taking place? That okay? Why is it that NEC has been delaying in releasing this FFR that they should have done 1 month ago before the elections? All of this, are they buying time so they can place and input all these numbers, you know, just so that the ruling party will be able to win the elections? Do you think that this is what's happening? My man, you said it.
The National Election Commission was caught unaware, thinking that the people are not following, and forgetting to know that this election is being monitored by both local and international communities. And any figure you pronounce, most especially the opposition, with that identical information, they are all in the counties, in the districts, making sure that all of the numbers that are being announced by the National Election Commission be tallied, put together, and come up with a final number. You know, when the National Election Commission was asked that question by Amos Stewart, she gave her own figure. I saw some conflicting numbers there, right? Because when she pronounced her own figure, and later on the technician come up with a figure, she said it was the actual number that the technician. So that means something is wrong somewhere.
Yeah.
Either the technician or the Edo Brown, they are doing something different. And like I said, they caught them on the way. And 12 went prepared. Like I tell you, he went with all of the documents. And proof. I think this is the reason why they have been taken to court, because like I always say, you cannot provide your own calendar of event, calendar that leads to the election, and you don't go by it. Who prompted you to publish the calendar of event? So I can safely say that the election, the October 10 election, could even be placed on hold. The other branch could even postpone that election, because for the fact that she will tell you that the election,
trouble.
It won't.
It all will be in favor of CDC, because they want to put time. The wave has turned towards the JMB direction.
Yeah, because the problem there is the people, in fact, the oppositions are not even united in this election. That's one of the things that I have seen. You know, when they first, because the FFRs have been published the 18th of this month, that was not done. The Unity Party and all of the its alliance came on the 20th. I think I was there and I reported that I did not got courage were there and where Senator Durham were there. So I only saw, you know, the Unity Party alliance there, making sure that the flag is in concern so that the national election can be aware that things are not going on right and they are not going by the calendar event. And then I did not see any other political party. And even today, to know that the Unity Party have taken the national election to court and not any political party in alliance with them. It will have almost 20 political parties, right? So let's exclude our CDC from there. So the rest of the opposition should be with this, and then they go rate, but they are not doing it. So it seems like this election is only about the Unity Party and not of the CDC. And the CDC,
what's your take, Emmanuel? From all the observations, even the video that I was just playing.
You know, CEO is sound very lovable because I followed the entire press briefing on some of the platform this morning when she spoke for about 12 minutes, giving various updates. So how prepared they are our institution to conduct a free, fair, and transparent election.
And
But
do
you
you think they
see,
are prepared?
no, see how I'm coming there. If you follow the question, if you follow the question asked by Amos Twe, when you first they posted the questions, when the camera focused on the face of Deviata Brown Lasana, you saw guilt in your face, right? And if you play that as the question being posted and the camera face to where you see guilt in your face. See, let me tell you, let me say this on this
Do you
platform
see
tonight.
guilt or you see malpractice?
No,
As though someone,
she
as though someone who has been bribed or is being forced to do something.
the questions appear to be very guilty to her because she was like trimming, you know, and try to make some clarity, but it stay hard. Let me say this, CEO. This election is not for an individual or it's not about promoting an individual. This is one of the crucial elections that every Liberians, whether home and abroad, are
Mm,
so much concerned about. So it should not be handled like you want to certify certain alliance, certain grouping. The Liberian people have to speak, and when they speak, meaning they have spoken. Nothing can change it. The first place like I was saying today, after the Vieta Brown Lasina press briefing, I said it today. I was at the court. I went to cover some report court proceeding involving a lawmaker and a lady. I said it today in the court. I mean, in the court, yeah. I said if there should be a problem in Liberia, the National Elections Commission should be here responsible for that. The FRR, it should be posted 30 days. The FRR. That's where politicians will know how many Liberians are qualified to go to the pool. But we
right.
currently we got about 13 days. 13 days. And she was
But let,
having press conference that we are working on the FRR. Are you kidding me? When will the FRR be posted? When political parties, political leaders, supporters will view it? I mean, what is the National Elections Commission trying to do? What are they trying to do? What are they sensing? Are, are,
did they,
are
did
they
they
are they
do that?
are they embracing chaos in this country? Are they embracing embarrassment? What are they trying to do? This is not about promoting any political party. It's about the interest of the Liberian people. So I don't honor for me up to now. I'm yet to understand the entire commission on the board of the National Elections Commission. What is happening that they cannot be bold to come up with facts. If there's something maybe like they've been crying that the Ministry of Finance don't want to provide the funding. They don't believe that there will be a run. They've been saying that. So what is going on? What is going on? We don't want to go back to the dark days. But the National Elections Commission, I can to say this: Deviata Brown Lasana and her team will be held responsible for anything that will happen in this country. They are playing with the interests of the Liberian people.
Is
This
that a
country,
real?
the country is that we're not talking about birthday club. We are talking about Susu Club election. We talk about committee chairman election here. We talk about the whole country. And you bluffing as a woman who going to school, who have a degree, you pass it around, you say now having press conference, and you need to talk about FRR, you are here to give out an in-depth of the final voter role. Then you call yourself chairperson of the National Elections Commission. Are you joking? This election is not about a joke. It's not about a joke, it's about people feature. Stop joking the Vieta Brown Lasana. Stop playing with the people feature. Let the election go on.
Listen to this. I just Google, and which any of you or even our listening audience could do out there. I just went on Google and I Google election fraud. Listen to the information, the definition of it. Election fraud, sometimes referred to as election manipulation, voter fraud, or vote rigging, involves illegal interference with the process of an election, either by increasing the vote share of a favored candidate, depressing the vote share of rival candidate, or both. It differs from both, often goes hand in hand with voter suppression. Can you imagine that? This is exactly what is happening. Because when you have this kind of delay tactics, or not going with your timeline, you're not going with a timeline that is published to give the voting population, those who vote, who register at different precincts, to have adequate voter education as to, I am going to vote to New Georgia. Let's say somebody registered to vote in New Georgia and somebody down the road registered to vote somewhere else. The information, the importance of the FFR is to help educate those people before time, before the voting date, as in, you are not supposed to vote to this precinct or this polling station. You should be going to this polling station. Because what is going to happen is most of the people will wake up very early in the morning so they can go to the polls and vote and go about their normal business. But if someone wakes up early in the morning and go to this polling station A, and they only get to find out at that time, because of the delay of the National Election Commission, that they are not supposed to vote at that precinct, their name is not on the roster, what happens? Now, all the time they spend in line is fruitless. And you can imagine how the frustration begins from there. Now they have to find out where they're supposed to go and vote legally. And in Liberia, the people struggling with transportation, all of that.
Mhm.
So,
Sure.
so, so moving from point A to point B, it derails the process, it frustrates the process, and this is something that the national election needs to be held accountable. These are issues, independent issues are supposed to be handled. I just define it, what voter fraud is. That's it. And so national election, yesterday we saw the coming in of the election ballots at the Roberts International Airport, quote unquote, wherever where they didn't pass, they made its way, to the National Elections Warehouse, and journalists were not allowed to even go live and be able to make sure the process is safe, that the national security is in charge. Who knows? Who is in charge of the national security? It is the George Weah-led government. Who appointed
We
the
don't have to
election
do, we
commissioners?
don't even have security. That's the
Who
first place.
appointed the election commissioners? It is the Weah-led government.
Yeah, but the CEO, the Constitution gave him the right to appoint. So even the next government that will take over will still appoint commissioner, directors, and all of those who will be charged with the with security in Liberia.
Yeah, but
But
what I'm trying to point there is the reason why I mentioned that is, if I appoint you in a position of leadership, you will, if you don't have an independent mind, you will hold some sort of loyalty to me, because
You just have to.
I am the one funding you. I am the one funding your workings, your inner workings, your ability to be able to function. I have to give you. There's three point
What is
something billion dollars left right now for the second phase if the election goes to the runoff, and that money
it?
is not has not been made available to the National Elections Commission. But the CDC has a $50 million budget that they are running their campaign on right now, but it cannot provide three point something million to the National Election Commission to effectively.
That is laughable. That is laughable. That is
Yeah.
just laughable because for me, I wonder because I don't know what the ruling government call the proper agenda for prosperity and development because they themselves don't even understand why they crafted the PAPD because the poor bush enjoy the government, but it's still few handful of people are enjoying the government. Few handful of people. So how will you have like what happened? They take employee this morning. They were at the Liberia Broadcasting System office protesting for 3 months. Three
Mhm.
months. I watched that. Then you got 50 million for campaign budget. Are you kidding me? So
Yeah.
how much is giving out people? Maybe giving them 100 per month or 150 per month, $75. Because that's the higher rate of the government. They
But,
they
but
they,
let,
they,
let,
they have to
let me hold you right there. Let me just buttress and help you so you can finish up from there. It is not just the 50 million plus budget that they have allocated, that Minister Samuel Toy has allocated to run the campaign. Within that, they have already purchased over 200 pickup trucks, 2,000 plus motorbikes, motorcycles that are running. The people who are supposed to protect those ballot bags and bring the peace and security and the safety of the country, which is the police, don't have
they
nothing.
have car.
All they have is a baton, and some of them don't even have baton.
No, but that's a CEO. No, that's a reality. That's a reality. If you come like Bonkan here, bulk of the police is here. The best weapon is the handcuff. That's the only thing they get right now from the government. Handcuff. If you ask them, they just get a handcuff hanging in a pocket. They just pass in the community, and that's the only weapon they have. Even the DA. Can you imagine the current DA commander of Bonkan is having motorbike. He go in the ghetto to arrest some motorbike. Tell me, if you having to go in the ghetto that get over 10, 15 disadvantaged youth, you carry a motorbike. How many DA officers you will carry on that back? In case they retaliate against you, they harm you. What become of it?
No, but
What happened?
you never see policemen going to go arrest somebody and call a passerby motorcycle guy and say, "My man, get on the bike with a criminal so they can take you somewhere." You never see that one happening over there plenty time.
That's a normal things in Bonkan. All of the counties, all of the counties. So what happened? The first thing, the first thing see you at time or things happening. I blame government for some reason, and I don't blame government for some reason, right? Our president made it clear to us that we should be security for ourselves. Meaning, he doesn't have interest in security. So that's a clear notion. He doesn't have interest. So what our security officer are calling on a knee, what our officer are eating saying, he don't care because he says you should be security for yourself. You don't have interest in it. So that's why his a residential area on 9th Street, a flat screen was stolen because everyone had to be security. So he should be that money at the flat screen too. So why he left on there doing when a flash screen was stolen? Say everyone should be security. So when you're saying things at times you should get it means you think of what will happen tomorrow. And for me, I'm a bull man. I don't boil and blow. The reality is there are several louses within this government, several louses, and they have to work on it. You can't be look at what happened. Barrow medicine was stopped on the Lova Road. Barrow medicine was pushing car. So
Eh?
how yes, a barrel medicine were pushing car. So you barrel medicine pushing car now what happened to him?
I didn't want you talking about.
Now they want to go out of pushing the one in the city share.
My man, the caterpillar, the caterpillar pulling the advanced team so.
Yeah, but everything can move the mud, so how the car will pass. So you had to pin caliber to hold it hard jacket and put it over.
And that is in Lofa.
So
Because the president is in
yes,
Lofa, as I learned. He's supposed to be
he's in
in
Nova.
Florida.
He's in Nova. So when you cough an idea that appear to be a Margaret, you saw that I mean it's not affect you as well. So that's what happened to his government. So if you say you want to cover idea, I mean, but you know, at times you Liberians, think every one of us got five senses, but the common sense make it six. Two statements the president and the vice president have made to us. Two statements. I just took that statement to be the reality. Dr. George Manuel Usman fucking Kong Manuel, we are said he is not a politician. He made it clear. So what do you expect? So even if you go wrong, he's not a politician. The vice president said she's not a politician, but stay. Like Brenda stay reading. Okay, we agree the people said they are not a politician, but we still go and vote for them. So when we vote for them, the outcome we should accept it because they didn't highlight feeding. If they would highlight feeding, then you would hold against them. But they make it clear they are not a politician. So if they go wrong, we accept the fact and reality and we move on. So at times people have to start to read about these people, read about them, follow their various statement. When they go in the gathering, follow them, read about them. That's why the technology
Yeah,
make it very easy.
but guys, before I go to you, that was a very salient point you made, Emmanuel. But this is what worries me. This is what troubles me, and there are many well-meaning Liberians out there. If you watch what I'm about to play, right before I play that rebuttal that Twe played, Twe as the NEC, with these kind of elections, this is not something to play with. You are disenfranchising and denying the only civil duty of these people. These people, many of these people that are crazy about exercising their civic rights, these people.
It is about 10% more those who do not know how to govern a country. It is about 10% more to those who do not know what democracy means. It is about 10% more to those who do not understand what governance means. We need a government that is responsible for the needs of the Liberian people. It is your country and you must make it better for yourself. Today is the day you put into the world that your country belongs to you and therefore you are prepared to live in it.
These are the things I'm talking about, denying these people their rights to exercise the right to vote, or, or playing a fraud role wherein they will be so confused and perplexed and disturbed and give up at the end of the day and not vote. This is what I'm talking about. Denying these people. This is what got Africa backwards, not just Liberia. Our African leaders, the greed for power and not giving the people, not listening to the voice of the people. This is what I hate to see. And it is not just these people that shows up on JMB campaign time, but the very people that are on the CDC, the very supporters, CDC supporters, they will be disenfranchised too because they are Liberians too. They will go to the ballot box and they don't know what way to go or where to vote, how to vote, because there's no voter education. Everything will become very much confusing. What do you expect in this scenario? What do you expect?
Let me bring this other information to you also. See, this election, the chairperson will be blamed, and even we the Liberians will be blamed because so many of us have damaged our voting card, have lost our voting cards, and we are behind politicians pretending that all is well, and which is not well. Today, I saw a huge voter cards at the National Election Commission desks, read at the front desks, and they are there. They are almost 20 to 30 of them are there. And the security were also saying that even when you go to some banks, some public places, you will find out that there are so many voter registration cards are there, and people just go and forget about them, and they are not, being secure. So I can see some, problem because if you become a politician and you supporting this candidate and your voter card is not being kept well,
Secure.
and yeah, it's not secure. And at the end result, the day reach for you to go vote and you can't find it. And where will you find it? At the National Election Commission? You won't find it. And so I think we ourselves need to be very careful in this very election because David Ethel Brown is a human being. For me, the reason I would blame her is, I can blame her is that the funding also, the government have delayed the funding of all of the workings of the National Election
You think
Commission.
it's intentional though on the side of the government?
It could be because when we go there for press briefing, they will tell us the government have just paid 5 million. They will spend another 20 million. Separate if to see somebody go and credit goods from you and you pay in installment. The people needed a budget to work with, right? They needed the actual budget to work with, and the government dragged in providing the budget.
So
And I believe,
it almost looks to me like the finance minister, like Samuel Toy, is not working in the best interest of the country. Because if Samuel Toy, that I knew at the University of Liberia, stood for democratic principles, the exercise of democratic freedom, he would
power
have
change things.
those funds long time to make sure that we have a democratic process.
That CEO power changed him at the time. He was not handling the kind of money or the position that is occupying right now. So, let me say that. Look, these politicians, you see that today, you see that they do the best of advocacy. They will do the best of talking. They will bring the best of platform before you. But when they get in the very position they want to get in, they will not perform to the best of their ability. They will abandon the people who stood under the rain and sun to vote them. This is why, for me, politicians, I don't even have space for any of them because today they will come and cajole you. They will say, "Yeah, oh man, we'll do this. We will build rules." Is this a function of a lawmaker to build rules? In fact, all of the lawmakers, all of those are seeking to become a lawmaker. They interpret or misuse the role they're supposed to play as a lawmaker.
Mm,
They misuse it because if you get there, you're supposed to make law, right?
right?
You forget about making law and start to do philanthropic work. Are you a philanthropic? If you start to do philanthropic work in a district, you you will not be able to reach everybody within the district. Do you know how many persons? Okay, I live in district number 4. We have almost 89,000 plus voters. You as an individual, will you be able to do the philanthropic work with everybody? So this is where the lawmakers that have been voted have misused their position, and some of them will be booted out and some of them will be re-elected based on what they have been doing in their various districts and counties.
Hmm.
But you see, one thing I follow Senator DeLong. Senator DeLong is not a philanthropic. He's a senator who always push the law, the TOR of the Senate, because the TOR of the Senate tells you that they're there to make the law and to work and loom with the legislative branch and make sure to advocate for the people because they all the every development that's supposed to go or that's supposed to be done in every county or district. You as a lawmaker are responsible. It is your oversight responsibility to tell the government that my people need this, my people need this. But if you take that initiative, you as a lawmaker, and start to do the thing that the government is supposed to do, it become your burden. It
Yeah.
become your burden. At the end result,
I,
you will not
I,
perform.
that is so true. I want us to play the reporter statement. Toy is still insisting that he gets the right answer, right? I want us to play that uh, for our viewing audience, just so we don't lose track of this discussion. Those of you who are listening to us, we are discussing the politics, the importance, balance. We're trying to make sure that the elections that are about to be held in 2 weeks, they are free and fair. I'm not sure about the word fair, but um, I haven't seen fair elections taking place in Africa. Howbeit, they could try their utmost best to be more transparent, as in people who are voting will vote and they know that their votes are being counted. So this is the next follow-up question by Toy.
Clarify it because the point is, Madam Chair, there is an increase in Monserrado County after the deduplication exercise. If you cannot decrease, it should remain at that. But why there is an increase in 3 counties? He has not responded to that. So we got Monserrado, we have Mangibi, and Basso. So there's increase in 3 counties. And you say that it happened after the deduplication. Exactly, after the deduplication exercise. After he announced the final figure. Yes, ma'am. So you have Monserrado, 9,961. That is correct. But let me say to you. There is it. We have it. Hold on. We'll take your concern into consideration. Okay. And we will check. After our check, we'll come back to the public in our next press briefing. Okay. Thank you. So we move on.
They will come back to the public in their next press briefing, which will be 1 week to elections. Because they have only given us a timeline that they will be having 1 press conference a week, which is on Tuesday. So that way next week Tuesday, after the check, which will be 1 week to elections, then they will come out with that clarification. Can you imagine what I'm talking about? Buying time, voter fraud, trying to infiltrate and duplicate a lot of the votes from the different precincts around the country. Why is this? Why, if you're a nationalist, if you're a citizen that have experienced and tested war 14 years like I did, 14 years I was in Liberia, I never fought, not one day. I was only protected by God's grace. And I experienced every hardship during those 14 years. And I saw everything that other people saw. I was abused the same way. I was malhandled. God protected me. Why would anybody come today in a place of authority, realizing that these are the things that lead countries into war? These are the things that will make the people to revolt, to rise up. And you want to play with them. They're playing with fire, man. The woman playing with fire. Playing with fire. She just doesn't understand that she's playing with fire until the fire burns her and it burns the Liberian people. That's what's going on. She playing with fire. This is not what we expect. This is not, even if there is a dissatisfaction and there's a revolt, and 1 Liberian died, that is still not good. No, it's not. Has she given it full due process or full thought, as in Liberia is all we have, and I must rise beyond personal interest. I must rise beyond the connections that I have and the money that I'm being bribed with, blah, 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 all kinds of crap, and put Liberia first and center. Because when you do that, only when you do that, you will rise above the fray, because character is better than money. The Bible said, even the Bible said that good name is better than money.
And she haven't showed the public not to panic.
She has showed the public not to panic, and she is panicking already. She herself is panicking.
And she also urging all politicians, the stakeholders within this election, that they should not go about saying that the election will be rigged, the election there'll be malpractices, there'll be fraud. And if you call the election, if you say that the election will have fraud, then you who emphasizing that that the election will see some cheating and this and that, and you win the election. Why would you tell your supporters that you
Yeah.
win that you were cheated to win the election? So for me, I believe I hear her for that. Let the people stop the perception that the election will be rigged, the election will
No,
be
no, no, no,
mal.
no, 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 no. Jasper, listen. I just read to you. You can go on your phone or as anybody else would to type the word elections fraud. I just read that to our viewing audience, what it means. And that is what's already going on. Election fraud is not taking place on the day of elections. Election fraud is taking place now.
I understand that.
It is leading to election.
I
The things,
understand that.
mechanisms that are supposed to be put in place are not put in place. So it stalls the process. It steals the process. It
Yeah,
frustrates
but
the process. It
like
brings cloud on the process. That is election fraud. Huh?
because the
Election
government.
fraud, listen, election fraud sometimes referred to as election manipulation, voter fraud, or vote rigging involves illegal interference with the process of an election. I am reading online, right?
So
Either by
so
increasing the vote share of a favored candidate or depressing vote share of a rival candidate. That's all.
so CEO, for me, I squarely blame the government for all of the funding that were not provided on time to the National Election Commission.
So this is
And
what we expect to see come after October 10th when the government, the ruling party, is announced as the winners. Everybody will cry a foul. Everyone will cry wolf, as in the process itself. And at that point now, you know what's happening? After that, the so-called diplomats take on the airwaves, as in, it's okay. We condemn. We condemn. But you condemn that there's nothing. You know what's happening in Sierra Leone right now? They are condemning the process in Sierra Leone. There are sanctions placed on our government, but there's nothing done. Bill is not leaving. He's going to be there. He's going to run things. That's what these guys are doing. Because these guys realize that after 6 years of what they have done with no accountability to the government of what's coming into the country, that they will be audited. They will do whatever it takes for them to stay in power. That's it. That's my independent mind to it. I don't have
yeah,
to.
no,
If anybody else, I mean, anybody has a different mindset, I put the link right there, right into the chat room or the comment section. You can click in. Let me see if they will have their opinion far different from what I'm talking about.
for me, I will continue to tell you that though this government appointed Liberia'S Brown
Mm-hmm.
to run the affairs of the National Election Commission, and they also dread in providing the very funding that the national election. In fact, the proposed funding that was sent to the legislature for this election, it was
Right.
reduced. It was brought down. They did not give them the money, and you 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 brought you reduce the money and can't give the money on time. So I
It's all,
don't know.
it's all in the interest of suffocating the process.
So I don't know the interest the government also have by not really providing the money on time. If they have luxury of funding to run their campaign, the National Election Commission shouldn't have been, or running like this, crying, that they don't have funding. The fundings are not available, and they be dragging and giving the funding and all of that. I blame the government for all of this, but again, they all in the same government. The Edward Brown is being appointed, and she take instruction from the very president. Though the National Election Commission was created, you know, The eye that created the National Election Commission is there. She chooses to go by a level, or if she chooses to go by the mandate of the president, and she go by it. And then even the final minute,
The mandate of the president, it's evident that she holds some sort of loyalty to the president, you know, via by his appointment, by her appointment to the entity, and quote unquote, I don't know how true this is. This is all flowing out there in media or land that once upon a time she had a relationship with the president. All of that. I don't know how true that is. That's alleged, but that's not my business. That's their private life or private life. If that is true or not true, you know. But irrespective of all of that, she has to look beyond all of that and put Mama Liberia first and center. What do you think about the other opposition parties that are sitting on the fence and are not, so much concerned about this process transparency? And the people that are pulling, the party that is pulling it by the horn is the opposition party, the Unity Party. Why do you think the other people, the other 18, I'm not talking about CDC because CDC, everything working in their favor, right? The other 17 political parties are so, I would say nonchalant, lackadaisical about the process, and it's so silent, and they're not even cooperating to the point where they can bring their voice to the table, as in they have invested as well into this process, and so their number one concern should be to see that this process is transparent. They are still campaigning. The fact that you're campaigning to become a president should give you the awareness and the urgency, to making sure that the process is transparent. Why do you think that only the Unity Party that we see rising up to the plate as in challenging the effort, the transparency? Why? What is going on?
first of all, in my own thinking and what I've been observing,
Mhm.
and I believe that this election is about two political parties, and the rest of the political parties are just there because of formality, and they just invest. Then some of them, how much they have invested so much. So some of them have nothing to lose, and I believe that some of them are in bed with the ruling unit, with the ruling party, because if you invest a lot into this election and you see and the things going the way you're not supposed to be, and you sit there and fold your hands, and only one political party is taking the rope and moving around, carrying the protocol and doing this. But we saw it during the 2017 election when Councillor Charles Walker Browns came to affair disenchanted and took and took Ned to court. All right. So
Mhm.
we've been seeing it. Sometimes
Yeah,
people.
but then it's late. You take someone to court, it's just a court proceeding, legal process is going to stall and nothing's going to come out of it. That's it.
So I believe that this is why the National Election Commission, not election, well, the Unity Party have started earlier to give some early warning to the National Election Commission that look, we will not take anything for granted in this election. But again, nobody knows the outcome of the ruling. So we await, to hear from the court ruling as to
Mhm.
how what was our funding, whether the National Election Commission is in error, because they are yet to publish the FFR. Because I'll take a tour today where the printing the FFR. Just imagine is still in process. The
Wow.
printing the FFR is still in process. I was
And,
there.
and,
They
and
started
and
printing.
this was the arrival of the election ballots yesterday, right? These were the
Yeah.
trucks that brought in the election ballots from the airport to the election centers. right?
Yeah.
And these are some of the ballots
Yeah.
that
So
they claim that were heavily protected and heavily guided, right? These were the ballots. But then they slept there, and who knows what is going on with the entire process. What's missing? What's not missing? These were ballots that were printed in Ghana, right? Brought into the country. All of this. And they could not allow the media. All some of these were insiders, people who just found their way and forced their way some way, somehow to take it. But they bought it, the media. You cannot do that here in America. We're not running a one government or whatever. If Liberia is a democratic state, multi or party, you want to make sure the process is safe, it's peaceful. And the one reason why you allow the media is to make sure that the process is free, is open, because that is why the media is for. The media will propagate the message for you. But if you start to shut a lot of stuff down and closing out on the media, what you do is, I mean, you raise a lot of questions, a lot of concerns. Why are you hiding? Why are you taking the media away? This is a national issue. Why are you not involving the press, the media? These are some of the things that are causing the problems, right? And when she gets to have a 10, 15-minute conference, she will only entertain two questions. At least today, she entertained what? About 8 or 9 or 10 questions for the first time.
yeah.
Yeah. And another thing I observe is this. That I need to bring to notice. It's not because she is the chair for the National Election Commission, Jasper. If you are the chair, you don't know it all. You have other commissioners that are on the board with you, and they all have their area of expertise. You have technicians. And so when you're having such a press conference, you bring all of them to the board, to the front, in the conference room. So if a question is asked, not because you are the director that you have to be the one to answer it. No, you refer that question to the man who is in charge. That man, that lady, who has the technical know-how in that department of what's going on. That's how you do stuff. We watch that many times when there is disaster taking place here in America, or wildfires or hurricane, and the governor is having a press conference along with the chief of police, with FEMA representatives. They all are flanched together on the stage. And what happens? If a question comes out from the journalist, and it is not the question that the mayor of that city should answer, it goes to that representative who has a technical know-how. If it is a security question, to the chief of police to answer that, because that's how you lead. But she wants to answer everything, and she's not in the know of everything. She's not in the know of everything. That's a problem, serious problem. But I want us to before we take leave on this show, we already over our 1 hour mark. Let's get the people their Kapao song. Then we can wrap up. Okay. Hey man, my man, I let the music. I let the music when you're playing, man. Whoever play the drum, the picking and Liberians are really, really gifted when it comes to drum, man. I'm telling you. My man, the president, according to information we have, is in Lofa, and tomorrow he will be in Foya district, the hometown of Joseph Numa Bwaka. And there are pictures already coming in to me just tonight. They had a visual, you know, uh, coming together, celebrating and hoping to see the president tomorrow in Foya. What do you anticipate? What do you anticipate? Do you think?
Uh, First of all, President Weah is a loving president. He's been loved by many Liberians, and people love him for his uh for his
Charismatic?
charismatic. He from football from the football background, so they love him for that. And there are so many people who haven't seen President Weah, so they will anticipate to see him. They will be excited to see him.
Mm-hmm.
So and he have people in Lofa, he have people in Foya. He has his son Thomas Fala in Foya, Jefferson Coach from Foya. He has the legs of Sir Joseph from Foya. So the majority of them, I know, in this government, here's some Lofa. So he will be well welcome, and most especially the people of
Wow. Mama, you frozen? Hey, Lola, you frozen? Oh? You talking about? Hello? Can you hear me?
yeah, yeah, getting you.
Okay, now you're getting me. You are frozen a little bit. That LRB internet now.
Yeah, I think I'll soon go off because uh,
Yeah, you were
uh,
saying something about the people that are from Lofa that are in his government. But
there are so many of them, so many of them. Samara Wurokoli, um, even the Moluba Molu man, he was from Lofa. So the many of them from Lofa. So they will
you
do all they
know,
can.
with all of them from Lofa though, how could they be sitting there? We've been hearing this barrow medicine, this bangam and the Koma highway. How can you do you know you I don't know you guys, but for us that are here in the diaspora, we look when we see pictures like this, we think safety, security. This this is a presidential convoy being stuck in the mud and it's being pulled out of the mud by a caterpillar yellow machine. Do you know what this pose security risk to our president? Because if anybody was over there to ambush the president, easy. The president had nowhere to go, nowhere to run. The president cannot convoy. I mean, the president convoy cannot be moving and you stop it. But the mud, you say borrow medicine, they must stop. I mean, you run away. That's what I'm talking about. This, how in the world will a presidential convoy be stuck in the mud? This poses security risk to our president and the dignitaries and the convoy, the entire convoy. I don't care how many guns you have, how many ammunitions you have on board to protect the president. What can you do here when you're stuck? the very vehicle and the convoy and everything. The only manpower that you see here is a caterpillar. Are you kidding me? Hey man, only in Liberia you can see this. You cannot see the beast, what we call the beast. The United States convoy that President Joe Biden is in, the beast is moving. Nothing will stop in the way of it from moving. It will move. Why is it that the president could not fly from Monrovia to Foya? There is a very good airstrip in Foya where planes and helicopters land. And he has his personal plane that he just came from flying from here, from Liberia to the US back to Liberia. Why he could not just use that? It's common sense. You put your life at risk and all the dignitaries. What is that? Send the convoy ahead of time if you need to, and then fly in. Security. So many lapses. So many lapses. We don't need it. We don't need this happening in Liberia. Fix the roads. Fix the roads. Folks, a lot to talk about tonight. But we're just going to have to stop here. You know, and continue to pray for Mama Liberia. That is the only country we have. Greedy Hunter, let me see. I'm looking for a song to play for y'all. My man internet now messed up, screw him up too. So everybody want to become president. That is song I come and play for y'all. Everybody want to be president in LRB. 20 presidential aspirants. Everybody just for one seat. Y'all must be careful. For the next 2 weeks, there's a lot to expect coming out of Liberia. There's still voter fraud going on because just today I heard that people are going in communities trying to make sure if people register to vote and which precincts or localities they register. And so if someone comes to you as in, let me see your card, your voter card, where you register, they are trying to commit fraud, because when they see it, they get the numbers on your voter card or capture it or take a picture, you're done. They're going to duplicate your card. And a lot of that is happening because I got a lot of calls about that today. Folks, you have to be extremely careful because everybody want to be president. Everybody want to be president. And I'm going to say,
ladies and gentlemen, I am Sonnegat Diabo. I'm glad with the great opportunity given me to introduce to you your president.
Babu want to become president. Muskiro want to become president. Poppy Dossa want to become president. Crazy man you see want to become president. Mr. Krede want to become president. Mr. Lala man want to become president. Yeah, president you will see you. Mr. Roro want to become president. Yeah, God. Now how the president business will be. We're suffering for some more. Mr. Lala want to become president. President you see want to become president. Mr. Become president. It can't be one angry. Let me tell you something. When they want to become president with Lala, they will come and say, as the president of the Republic of Liberia, I thank you people for introducing me as a president. Power invests in me as a president of the Republic of Liberia. I want to make sure I will bring the rest price down. Yeah. I'm going to put all the fee of price down. I'm going to bring the gasoline price down. Yeah. Lolo want to become president. You know he say you want to tell me say president wait? Tell money eat up become president. Trust take up become president. And now he say Liberia will support you. When they be president to them, they will stand and say, I'm Meso
before I take leave of you, I have a word of advice to all of you journalists who are out there reporting, that are yellow journalists that are taking sides, no matter what political platform you report for or who you report in favor of. Um, there is what I call a common sense advice. If you look at politicians like the late Dr. Amos C. Sawyer, if you look at um, Charles Bromsky, Bacchus Matthews, a lot of you, Samuel Doe, hmm? Charles Tiller, who is locked up now, so many politicians that have come and gone. A lot of you destroy your institutions, your character, your name in the name of loyalty. You become so loyal and you become blind to the process. Just take a retrospective look 10 years ago when Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was in leadership for 12 good years. Surrogates, media, those in the media that take one side reporting, that are biased, that do not look at stories, report on this side and report on this side. If it is wrong, call it a wrong. Call a spade a spade. If it is truth, give it to them. But you become a blind, one-sided blind loyalist to one politician. My advice to you is, guess what? Politicians come and they go. Nothing remains forever, but your character stays forever. Because even if you were to die today, or your institution dies, it will go down in the archives of history as to which side you were on. So my question to you, or my encouragement to a lot of you in the media industry, is to be as independent as you can. I know it's difficult, it's hard, because we are humans. We're never going to be 100% independent. But bring some sort of sanity, truthfulness for our listening audience. If Joseph Boakai is wrong, we'll call it. If President George Weah is wrong, we'll call it. That is what we do. If you're going to judge us, judge us. You'll be the judge. But we have yellow journalists. What are you going to do? My question is, what are you going to do after October 10th, when your presidential candidate is not nominated, is not in government? What are you going to do? Where's your profession? What happens to your profession? What even happens if George Weah loses? What's going to happen to all those who are now nothing they see that Weah does wrong? They cannot call it. What's going to happen if Joseph Boakai loses and Weah stays in government? What will happen? Those journalists who are yellow journalists and take one side. One side. It almost looks like you have one eyeball closed and you can only see one way. And there's an old parable that says, the blind, in a town of the blind, the man with the one eye is the king. Folks, a word for the whites is quite sufficient. This is all I get to leave with you today. Our fellow compatriots in this industry, balance your stories. If Weah does good, give him the kudos. If he does bad, criticize him. Point him out. If JMB does good, give him the kudos. If he does bad, do likewise. Point him out. And I hope some of y'all will go to work tomorrow. Some of y'all that like to stick around the corner and to your girlfriend and y'all don't like to go to school. Tonight the door coming close. They say, pop, 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 pop. Ma open the door. Yeah. Now when people let y'all be saying, pop, pop, pop. You hear that? Pop, pop, pop. That music for some of y'all. And that's my way of saying good night. Always on this show. It's never goodbye, but good night. Thanks for being a part of the show tonight. Quack, 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 quack. Ma, open the door. Now your song. Enjoy it.
Quack, 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 quack.
Who is that?
It's your husband, baby. Please open the door.
Charles, I am not going to open this door tonight. Go back to where you come from, okay? Today, I will not open that door. Today, I can't open this door. If you want to break it, go ahead and break it. If you want to spot it, go ahead and spot it. But tonight, I can't open it.
You will go back to where you come
I will
from.
not open it.
You must go back
Every
to where you
night,
come
you want me
from.
open it.
You will go back to where you
Anytime,
come
you want me
from.
open it.
You must go back to where you
Tonight, I
come
can't
from.
open that.
You will go back to where you come
I will
from.
not open it.
You must go back to where you come
I
from.
can't open it. What kind of job you doing? You always got me hule. What kind of place you working? You always got me hule. So darling, for I can't open it. I'm sorry for you. I will never open it. Every night you want me open it. Every time you want me open it. Day and night you just knocking it. Oh baby, wouldn't you your bosses love so much? I see. Now I know. I will not open it. I can't open that door. If you want to break it, go ahead and break it. If you want to spot it, go ahead and spot it. I can't open that door. You got my melody, I will not open it. If you got my loving, I can't open that door. I will not open it. I will not open it.
Hey, darling, please listen to me. I had a lot of work to do at my office. This is why I'm coming home late. I also have to drop my boss man home. This is why I'm coming home late. In fact, there was so much traffic. Red light traffic, Freeport traffic, Baton traffic. This is why I'm coming home so late. Please, I beg you, open the door. I love you.
Everything you telling me, I can't open that door. I will not open it.